Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com, and I got another Doc Sports guy with me today. He's a regular twice a week, Mr. Doug Upstone from the great state of Arizona and formerly from the Chicago area.
Yeah, a little bit west of Chicago. Yes, grew up there, lived in Milwaukee for a long time too.
Yeah. And I was saying yesterday to Scott, Scott Spreitzer, who grew up in Nebraska, my experience with Midwest people is, and you can't stereotype everybody and throw everybody into the same cookie jar, but my experience has been very pleasant with Midwest people. One of the, I feel some of the most polite and courteous people you could ever meet. Anyway, and Doug, you fit that.
As opposed to you East Coasters, is what you're saying?
Yeah, man, everything's fast paced. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm in the good part of New York, Western.
Oh, that's
New York,
right,
brother. I'm not on that other coast where metropolitan New York, where it's dog eat dog. So
right.
In any event,
you're one of the good guys, is what you're saying.
Here,
let me pat your back for you.
So yeah, I already had shoulder surgery last year from patting myself on the back, so I can't do that anymore. Anyway,
all right,
Doug, some notes in Major League Baseball betting. And by the way, folks, this is a Major League Baseball betting show. We will have 2 free picks for you on Friday, the 22nd of April. But before we get to that, Doug's got some topics he'd like to cover and some news and notes in the MLB betting world.
Yeah, one of the things that the number one thing that stood out to me, and I guess I just didn't pay attention close enough on this one, but the Baltimore Orioles coming into today are 11-0 under. Okay, I mean, now I knew their offense wasn't any good, so I officially went back and looked it up again, and that's correct. They're dead last in Major League Baseball, scoring 2 runs a game. But guess what? They're 7th in runs allowed, giving up only 3.1. So not too hard to figure why they're 11-0 under so far this year. So that one struck me. And another thing that just let's say as an observation, Atlanta's 6-8 to start the year, and they just played the Dodgers, and not unexpectedly on the road they lost from that standpoint. But one of the things, and this is kind of a glass is half empty, half full type situation here. It's easy to forget that last year, when August came around, they were like, I think 2 or 3 games over 500 at that time. And then they just got hot. Everything came together. The pitching came together. The bullpen came together, and they ended up winning the World Series. Okay. I mean, I don't think many people thought they were among the best teams. Now, did they play to their level? Good question. Okay. Considering the year before they had gone, took the Dodgers to the limit and could have beaten them. Maybe that's the case, but they weren't necessarily that good last year. And if anything, I think without Freddie Freeman, they're a little bit weaker. They picked up a nice first baseman from Oakland there, so that's good. But I don't know. I guess I'm not that surprised they're playing this poorly, and mostly because they didn't play that well last year.
Yeah, and we talked off air, and you mentioned, and the more I thought about it, it's like, wake up, Ross. I didn't realize this, but parity in Major League Baseball right now, of course, we're starting slow. It's the month of April. It's not like I'm researching Major League Baseball extensively right now with the NBA playoffs going on. But by the same token, we're still giving out MLB picks and parity in baseball right now, Doug.
Yeah, for sure. And especially in the American League. Just they're other than Texas, who's 2-11. I mean, nobody is terrible. Like I said, Baltimore's not great at 4-8, but still, I mean, you look at who the different teams and how they've played, and what Baltimore beat the Yankees twice. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, they won 2 out of 3 from the Yankees.
Right. Yeah. So there's some things going on. So there's a lot of parity thus far. We need more to where all the teams start playing different teams to get a much better feel. Usually by the middle of May or so, you have a better feeling about most teams because they played a variety of opponents and stuff. But the Angels, I was kind of impressed. The Angels went into Houston and took 2 out of 3. That I guess I was a little bit surprised. I still don't know how good the Angels are, but it was impressive enough to me that they did that. Houston's not hitting. I mean, that's
Yeah.
their number one problem that they have going right now. But, I mean, again, this is a lot of early conjecture,
Yes.
but it's just kind of interesting to just, take a look at it, start to get some ideas, start to get some feelings about some of the different teams and, just across the board. So, yeah, so American League, just kind of wide open. It seems at the moment, nobody's, has jetted out ahead like the Dodgers, for example. And, so every day is a little bit more of a challenge
Oh,
from that standpoint.
absolutely. We talked about this yesterday. Scott brought it up about a couple teams that, sometimes when looking at things in April, we do go slow. Some of us, like us three, do anyway,
Yep. Yep.
in Major League Baseball. But what you're looking for is teams that are either playing over their head or underachieving, and then trying to find value come May in those teams. Now, I gave the example of the New York Yankees, who, by the way, got shut out this afternoon again by Detroit, third shutout of the year, unbelievable. But I was saying to come May, we may not be seeing the Yankees as that big chalk that we've been used to seeing, and eventually their lineup's going to come out of their funk and go on a nice streak. So we may be able to catch some value on them as a small favorite or even an underdog, especially against quality teams within their own division. They play Toronto and Tampa Bay and Boston. So it's something to keep an eye on. He mentioned Oakland. He thought they were overachieving and eventually they're going to come down to earth. Is there any teams off the top of your head? I know I'm hitting you with a surprise question here, but anything of validity in your mind to what we just mentioned? Or is there a specific team that you may have in mind that either we might look to fade or bet on based on how they're underachieving or overachieving right now?
Yeah, I can't say I have anybody that I think is really overachieving, that much. I mean, Scott's point is correct on Oakland at 7-6,
Yeah.
but their schedule hasn't been great, and besides the throng of people that they're having at their games on a nightly basis, I mean, good Lord, I mean, geez,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, how'd you like to be a concessioner
No, it's
at one of their
terrible.
games?
Look, they're set
I
up
mean,
to go to Las Vegas. So I said, you better start becoming you better start becoming a A's fan because they're
right, right.
coming your way, my friend.
Get your green and gold stuff early, right?
Yeah, exactly.
From that standpoint. But no, I think the Brewers and the White Sox come to mind, and the Brewers, just because they're not hitting now, Yelich is hitting,
Yeah,
so that's a real positive development. Their pitching has still been not maybe not awesome like it was last year, later on, but I mean it's all there for it to
yeah,
come together. Peralta, for example, he's been terrible for
yeah,
them so far. But so I think they're going to be undervalued because they're not hitting, okay, and they're not winning a lot, so they have something to offer. And the one team that has surprised me a little bit thinking about it is St. Louis.
yeah,
Um, Beating Miami, they regularly beat Miami, so I can't put a lot of
yeah,
put too much validity to that. But I kind of saw them as maybe a team that wins 85, maybe 87 games, and there's some things about them that looks like there's the potential they could win 90 plus. It just kind of depends, obviously how the season plays out, and if some of these pitchers work out for them that they have. So yeah, so that's when, and the White Sox, they're just not hitting consistently enough. They're up and
yeah.
down, bullpen shaky. So those are the teams right now that I think, the numbers are going to be low enough. And if you happen to be on them and follow them on a regular basis, I think there's some chances to get some pretty good numbers that would, as you said, offer value.
Yeah, I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals, you're right, Doug. I think the one thing that strikes me so far is they're hitting over their heads, meaning that, they're putting up, getting some run production, and their offensive arsenal right now is a little better than people would have expected going into the year. Now, whether that continues or not, I don't know. I would take a small bet and say no, that's going to tail off eventually. But the key is going to be, like you said, they're pitching. They're starting pitching. They have some arms in that rotation. Adam Wainwright's still going strong, and I think 40 years old or whatever, nearing 40 years old, and they got some great arms there. Their bullpen is pitching okay. Yeah, and they have the Marlins number 8. As a matter of fact, since 2000, since last year, 8-0 versus the Marlins. So,
Yeah.
and it's something to keep in mind. And when that series shifts back to St. Louis, although I think the Cardinals will probably be heavy chalks in all of those games. Anyway, let's get to our free picks, Doug. You have one in the AL West tomorrow, and spin
Or
it away.
AOS team. Did they used to be in the same division? I forget. Well, I know they used to be in the AFC West. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
yeah.
I should say they still are. Kansas City is going to be at Seattle. Seattle, as we record this, is 4-1 at home this season. It's pending the results of Thursday night, and they're going to start, or the scheduled starter is Chris Flexen. And since last year, when he has started, the Mariners are 22-11. So he's gone about his business, done his job. Now, Kansas City, I did not take a look before we did this, but they were on a 3-game winning streak, and they were trailing 1-0 to Minnesota. I don't know if what the results are, so they may have a winning streak, they may not, but they're playing not too bad. Okay, but the one thing that they've really benefited from, Ross, is all the home games. They've only played one road game. They had a 2-game series, which was also, by the way, in the state of Missouri at St. Louis, and one of those games got rained out. So they haven't been anywhere other than Missouri, this season. Now they're going to start Brad Keller, and he has gotten off to a very good start with a 1.38 ERA. And it isn't like some of these other pitchers. It's of note because he's thrown in those 2 outings 13 innings.
Yeah.
6-1 and 7 another.
Good point.
So his ability to be lack of usage of pitches has kept him in games. So he's been really good. But some bad news on him too. He's going to a place in Seattle, or Coffee Town, as I like to call it, with an ERA of 5.15 and 3 trips there. So not getting the job done. And has an offense that is only scoring 3.1 runs per game, despite all the home assignments. Now, Seattle's offense, it's not great. Okay, it's 4.1 runs per game. They're okay. But besides their starting pitching being pretty good, their bullpen is 4th in ERA. And I'm also going to bring up one of Ross's favorite topics, the WHIP. Their number is below 0.9. Okay, which is absolutely outstanding. So I'm looking at the current odds, Ross, of -121 for Seattle. To me, that sounds like a bargain. So I'm going to take the M's in this one.
Yeah, it sounds like a bargain to me too. Seattle, a team that a lot of people think can make some noise in that division this year. Very underrated team at that, from small market team. I guess you can call them a small market team, but you make some good points there, Doug. And Kansas City, they struggle offensively at times as well too. So something to keep in mind. I'm going to take a look at the Milwaukee at Philadelphia game, 7:04 or 7:05 p.m. I don't know, 7:04, where I got that from. 7:05 p.m. Eastern time start. Anyway, the starting pitchers will be Freddie Peralta for the Milwaukee Brewers, and it'll be Ranger Suarez for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, both of these teams started out the season really struggling offensively, but they're showing signs of coming out of it of late. And we had 2 starting pitchers here that have really not got it done in the first 2 starts of the season. As a matter of fact, Peralta for Milwaukee, 2 starts, an 11.57 ERA, a 2.29 WHIP, and he only lasted 7 innings combined in those 2 starts. And Doug, that carried over from spring training, where he had 4 starts in spring training, over an 11 ERA in spring training as well. So something ain't right with Freddie Peralta, because he certainly was a much better pitcher last year than he's showing this year. Ranger Suarez, on the other hand, who's a promising young pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, but he's got off to a rough start. His whip, Doug, is 196 in his first 2 starts, and that's not very good. A ERA of over 5. But, that ERA of over 5, here's what I mean, folks. 5's not a good ERA. Anything in the 5s is not a good ERA, but it could be much worse based on his 196 WHIP, which tells me he's pitching a lot worse than even his 5.26 ERA is showing. As I alluded to, both of these teams have started to come on offensively of late. Milwaukee has averaged 5.3 runs scored per game over the last 4, while the Phillies have averaged 5.6 runs per game over their last of 5 games. And the Philly bullpen continues to struggle. Their ERA hovers around 5. They're susceptible to giving up the long ball. And, I think this one's going to go over the total, Doug. It opened at 7.5. It quickly went to 8. And I think for good reason. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies Milwaukee Brewers game in Philadelphia to go over the total of 8 on Friday the 22nd. And Doug Upstone likes the Seattle Mariners minus 121 on Friday the 22nd. So there you have it, folks. I know we've been a little cold with our free picks of late after being on that torrid run for over 9 or 10 weeks. And, we'll get it back going again. But until then, Doug, tell them how you're doing with your pay selections, which are our best selections at DocSports.com.
Well, I think I mentioned on Monday that it had a little bit of a problem that to start the NBA playoffs. Well, problem solved right now, Ross.
Good.
4 straight winners, okay, including a 6-unit best bet with Miami the other, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday with Miami. So that's good. So updated record 46-19, almost 71% over the last 3 months with a profit of over $8,400. I am ready to go yet again for this weekend. I already have a game circled for Saturday that is likely going to be it'll be the first round game of the year for sure on that one. If I get the right number, and I think I should. And if possibility, I have a play also going tonight, a 5-unit play. So if you happen to see this video before 7:30 Eastern, well, then you got an opportunity to pick it up. So that's available. Major League Baseball, I got a play that I got going tonight. I think I'm going to make me a winner. And so with that, that'll make me have back at having a winning week, just a little bit below so far. Get back on track. I mentioned on Monday had a winning week, and NHL, Ross, just starting to just pick up the momentum, as I mentioned. And so I don't know about you. I'm just anxious for the NHL playoffs to get going. I mean,
Me too, buddy. Me too. I mean, I know NHL, I don't do it all during the regular season, but I do it in the playoffs. However, I've been a big NHL fan for years. It's Buffalo Sabres. Boy, oh boy, that's my team. I hate to say it. We really suffered here, but there's some promise. They've come on late in the year. The youngsters are looking good. But what Doug's referring to, there's nothing like the NHL playoffs hockey. It's just the intensity level is unmatched. The energy in the building, every shift there seems to be so critical in NHL playoff games. So keep an eye on those picks from Doug Upstone. I know for a fact he's done awfully well in the NHL, and especially at playoff time. And I don't know what it is about you guys from Docs. Scott Spreitzer, just a tremendous NBA season, and Doug is just on an ungodly run in the NBA. And I almost feel pale in comparison when I say that since April 1st, I've gone 16-7 in the NBA. That's 70%, and 6-1 with my 10-star top plays in the NBA during that course of time. 9-2 with my 10-star top plays in the last 11 overall. Major League Baseball 3-0 so far with my Major League Baseball 10-star top plays. Going back to last season, 45-23 with my Major League Baseball 10-star top plays, and 28-18 overall in all sports since April 1st. Just 61%. Nothing like these guys, man. I'm telling you. I feel like a minor leaguer when I talk to you guys. Anyway, you can find me at rbwins.com. And folks, when you go there, I started this April 1st. Okay, is on top of the run I'm on. I'm also guaranteeing it. We're not going to change this anytime soon. Any single game or multiple game package, if you lose, the amount of purchase, I will credit it right back to your account. If you lose a $49 10-star top play, $49 goes back into your account for any future purchases. And if you have not registered at my site yet, I'm going to give you a $100 sign-up bonus when you do. And you could use those toward any future purchases. That's rbwins.com. And you can find Doug at docsports.com. Doug, We'll talk again on Monday, but until the next time, have a great weekend, my friend. And for Doug Upstone and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Good luck and take care, folks.